and welcome. Well, I'm not sure what I got myself into here, but I'm going to attempt to make this thing right here. It's a piece of phenolic with a couple of brass rings embedded into it. And it's part of a neon clock, a clock with neon hands. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it or not, but I'm going to give it a try. I wish I knew more about it. I don't really understand how it integrates into the clock really well and how it's wired. But I'm going to go ahead and make this for a guy up in Illinois and see what I can do with it. And if he needs some other modification made to it, I will attempt to do it. Anyway, let's get started. I'll throw some pictures up on the screen what this clock looks like when it's done or put together. I couldn't find any black phenolic. That's all I could find right here. And I talked to the guy that I'm making it for, and he said that was okay. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these first, because I'm really not sure how well this stuff cuts. I'm not going to cut it on my table saw because I suspect it'll dull the blade pretty good. Okay, I got a 5/16 bolt in here, and the hole in this thing is some kind of odd size. It goes on a clock drive, so it might be metric. The rest of it's inch based. I think I can turn it down and have enough threads here to use this as a mandrel. Okay, I've got these scraps of brass right here that I'm going to turn down to that diameter inside and out, and then part them off, part these rings off. Well, I've got this trepanning tool. Oh, I think I'm saying that right. I showed it in another video. I've never really used it though. And I'm going to use it as an indicator because that's what I'm going to cut the grooves with. What I got to do is take into account the width of that tool. 80 thousandths, probably a metric. I ran into the nut with my trepanning tool. It's going to be very confusing, but I'm going to have to do this in reverse. Don't like doing that. Well, that looks right. This would almost be worthwhile setting up on my wood lathe for CNC. Okay, it worked good on the lathe, and I got to make several of these, and I'm afraid of getting that repeated exactly right, and that's pretty important. If I had a DRO on the lathe that I could set 2 memories on, I could probably do it and do it really well. But I don't want to take a chance on messing up on reading my dials. Anyway, I put it on my CNC lathe, and you can see what happened here. I got a narrow slot and a wide slot. And it's something to do with the programming for my lathe and trepanning, and I don't know how to fix it. I tried several times, and it didn't work. So we're going to take a new approach. We're going to do it on the rotary table. I got a 5mm end mill, and that's just about the exact width of the slot in the original. So it's going to work good, I think. Okay, I've got the rotary table set up here with a chuck in it. And I put a 1/2-inch pin in here, and I used the half function on my DRO and touched off on each side in each axis and got it centered. This may not be the most accurate way to do it, but it's fairly accurate and plenty accurate for what we're doing here. The biggest thing on this particular item is repeatability. So I've got my DRO centered or zeroed out on center. So I've got to put a mandrel in the middle of that chuck, which is nothing more than a bolt that's been turned down a little bit for that hole size in here. And I don't know what size that hole is supposed to be, but I got it as close as I could. It's one size under 5/16, whatever that is. And it's not metric as near as I can tell. I don't usually use this collet holder. This is an ER40 collet holder. It extends the distance from the spindle, or the spindle of my mill, so it makes it less rigid. But I don't have any metric collets, and this is a 5mm. And this is pretty soft anyway. It's not going to be an issue. Okay, I drew this out so that from center to the center of the slots are these dimensions right here. And I screwed up here. I'm going to go ahead and trim it around with the same end mill. I was going to make it round first, and I thought, well, I'll just cut it with the end mill. But I had to add 1/2 of 5mm right there to that final dimension to compensate for the diameter of the end mill. I got my Y-axis locked in, and I'm going to use the X-axis for everything. So the first thing we got to do is set it to 0.548. There we go, right there. I think it'd be better to cut all the smaller diameter slots, cut all these first, and then cut these. It's a lot of work doing that, taking them on and off, but I think it's more accurate. Okay, for some reason, this is something I don't care for on this Wells Index. It doesn't have a really accurate depth stop on the quill. So I'm going to use the knee for setting the depth of cut. Touch off here. Okay, right there I'm touching. There's a lot of things I do like about this Wells Index, and this is one of them. The hand wheel's got graduations on it and a resettable marker, and I can quickly go to 60 thousandths on this, no problem. The DRO is kind of touchy. That's pretty easy there. Okay, if I didn't mess something up here, this should work good. Well, it looks pretty easy. Time consuming, but okay. Excuse me. Now we got to go to 1.156. Okay, here's the original ring. My groove is very slightly smaller, but close enough. Remember, we haven't made these yet. Okay, let's make this thing round. Need to move to 1.848. I found out that locking these, or partially locking the table, makes it cut a lot smoother. Okay, what we're going to do now is drill these little holes right here. I don't know if you can see them, they're right there. Two little holes, and there's 4 of them. There, and there. 4 sets. And I think they are, it's where a little wire goes through and it holds the hands, the neon hands, to the clock, to this disc. Probably not very critical. Gonna be time consuming drilling these though. wraps it up for this week. Having to get some information. Apparently these brass discs that insert into these slots have to be connected to each other from side to side, and then wires coming out the side to connect, to energize those discs. It's going to be a big ordeal making these things. I'm getting into a little more than I bargained for here. But anyway, thanks for joining me. Be sure and subscribe and ring that bell.